Greetings. In this video we try to interpret the water use legislation governing the discharging and disposing of domestic wastewater within the context of a domestic household, so that you are aware of your rights and responsibilities when it comes to installing on-site disposal facilities like a septic tank system or a treatment package plant. Welcome. My name is Sean McGregor of Ecoleges Environmental Consultants based in Mpumalanga, South Africa. And we're on a mission to empower all South Africans to protect their environment through the correct interpretation and application of our environmental legislation. So if you want to learn how our environmental law applies to you and how to avoid accidentally triggering a listed activity or water use without the required authorization, and so to then avoid potential prosecution and penalties, or if you simply want to increase the internal capacity of your company by increasing the knowledge and skills of your staff to make environmentally responsible decisions without having to rely solely on external consultants, then you'll want to subscribe to this channel. You can subscribe by simply swiping your mouse over our logo to the bottom right hand side of your screen. And don't forget to click on the bell notification icon so that you can be notified the moment we upload a new video. And please remember, these educational videos are for free, so we'd sincerely appreciate your support to help spread the message by simply liking the video if you or someone you know can benefit from it. Thank you. So let's get started. We continue with the series most common recurring non-compliances, and the non-compliance explained in this video, or the title of this video, is Discharging and Disposing of Wastewater. Now it's worth noting that our interpretation is based fundamentally on the wording written into the General Authorizations published in Government Notice 665 of 2013. Those General Authorizations expired in 2018. However, the Minister did publish an extension the following year in Government Notice 383 of 2019, so they are still applicable. Unfortunately, however, the General Authorizations are so poorly worded that they are open to interpretation, or rather misinterpretation. So we do strongly recommend that you consult and even challenge your local or regional office of the Department of Water and Sanitation before taking our advice. It is also worth noting that we are interpreting these activities or water uses, specifically discharging or disposing of domestic wastewater into a water resource, within the context of a single domestic household. So if, for example, an average person generates about 250 litres of domestic wastewater per day, then a single domestic household or an average family of 4 excuse me, would generate about 1,000 litres or 1 cubic metre on a given day. Firstly, I want to clarify two definitions. Domestic wastewater means wastewater arising from domestic and commercial activities or premises and may contain sewage. Grey water, on the other hand, arises from domestic activities such as showering or cooking and does not contain sewage. Now, discharging one's domestic wastewater into a water resource is a Section 21F water use, which reads, discharge of waste or water containing waste into a water resource through a pipe, canal, sewer, sea outfall or other conduit. So it literally means piping one's wastewater directly into a water resource. Please note though that implicit within the term domestic wastewater discharge is its collection and treatment before its disposal, according to the definitions provided in the General Authorization. In other words, it is not possible or illegal to discharge domestic wastewater into a water resource without treating it first. Because it is a Section 21 water use, a person may only discharge domestic wastewater into a water resource without a license if 1. It is permissible under Schedule 1. Now this is interesting. A person's only direct entitlement under Schedule 1 concerning wastewater does relate to its discharge, but only into a conduit that is controlled by another person authorized to undertake treatment of that wastewater. So basically, you do not need to register or get a license for flushing your domestic wastewater into a municipal sewer reticulation system. A person may discharge into a water resource without a license if 2. It is the continuation of an existing lawful use. However, an existing lawful use is only applicable to a 2-year period before the National Water Act came into effect, that is between 1996 and 1998. So any discharge after 1998 cannot rely on an ELU. And so the only remaining alternative to dispense with a license for discharging wastewater into a water resource is in terms of a general authorization. And there is a general authorization available. However, a person can only discharge their domestic wastewater into a water resource in terms of that general authorization if it falls within the limits and conditions set out in that authorization. For example, any person wanting to discharge into a water resource must first register with the responsible authority and establish a monitoring program to monitor the quantity and quality of discharge, as well as ensure that it complies with the applicable wastewater limit values provided or prescribed in that authorization. Now, I've read the authorization and it's not too clear whether a single domestic household generating less than 10 cubic meters on any given day needs to monitor that discharge. Truthfully speaking, it is more popular to dispose of one's waste on site, but that potentially triggers a Section 21G water use, which reads, dispose of waste in a manner which may detrimentally impact on a water resource. And it's actually quite similar to the discharge of waste, that is Section 21F, insofar as one can dispose of their domestic wastewater on site without a license, only in terms of a general authorization, at least post 1998. But remember, it has to be within the limits and conditions set out in that authorization. Now, that general authorization authorizes a person to dispose of domestic wastewater generated by a single household not permanently linked to a central collection, treatment and disposal system, to an on-site disposal facility. Now, examples of on-site disposal facilities include septic tank systems, conservancy tank systems, soak-away systems, French drains, pit latrines and some package plants. However, these on-site disposal facilities have to be located outside a watercourse, including above the 1 in 100 year floodline or riparian habitat, whichever is greater, or alternatively 100 meters from a watercourse, whichever is greater. And that's how it's worded. It also has to be more than 500 meters from the delineated boundary of a wetland and a borehole that is utilized for drinking water or watering stock. Now, unlike the GA for discharging waste or water containing waste, you do not need to register the water use with the responsible authority, because you will be disposing of low volumes, that is less than the threshold prescribed in the GA, or 50 cubic meters on any given day. In conclusion, if you are on a property that cannot permanently link into a central collection, treatment and disposal system to benefit from a person's direct entitlement under Schedule 1 to flush their domestic wastewater into a municipal sewer, then you'll need to make a plan. You can either treat and discharge directly into a water resource, or you can treat and dispose into an on-site disposal facility. However, both are Section 21 water uses and as such need to be licensed. Nonetheless, given the low volumes of domestic wastewater generated by a domestic household or single domestic household, it will be possible to dispense with a license and then discharge or dispose in terms of the applicable general authorization. But remember, one would have to familiarize themselves with and comply with the limits and conditions set out in that authorization before commencing with either discharging or disposing. We hope this was helpful, and thank you for watching. If you have joined the MP or Incorsi tiers of our membership program, then you will receive an additional video that provides a practical example of how the disposal of domestic wastewater on site was erroneously handled by a homeowners association in a wildlife estate. We also provide some specifics on the kinds of limits and conditions prescribed in 2 general authorizations. One is for the authorization to dispose of waste in a manner which may detrimentally impact on a water resource, and the other is for the GA to irrigate with wastewater. Now, if you aren't a member yet, then check out our membership program on Patreon. Otherwise, if you're simply looking for an environmental consultant to help you with a once-off project, you're welcome to visit our website. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll definitely want to see the next one. We actually link it to the previous video that provided clarity on the listed activities pertaining to the clearance of vegetation. This next video takes a look at those plants that are actually protected by law and which then require permits before their removal. So subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell notification icon, and please, if you did find benefit or you know of anyone else who can benefit from these videos, like them. We appreciate your support. Thank you, keep strong, and God bless.